right, today we're going to look at section 4.3, solving quadratic equations using square roots. A little bit of vocabulary here. First of all, remember a root of a polynomial equation is just a solution to the equation. So we need to know what we mean by a root. And then when we talk about a zero of a function f of x is a solution to the equation f of x equals 0. So again, a root is a solution to an equation. A zero of a function is a solution to an equation. Now, when we have done equations like x squared equals 25, read through the solution to that. It's solved by factoring. And there are two solutions. So we set it equal to 0 right here. We factor it using the difference of squares pattern. And then we set each factor equal to 0, solve the simpler equations, and we get two solutions, x equals -5, x equals +5. Now, there is a quicker method, and that's going to be our focus today. So x squared equals 25. We can take the square root of both sides, because the square root will undo the square. We simplify the square root of 25, and we get two solutions. We need to remember to put the plus or minus on there. So if x squared equals d, then x equals plus or minus square root of d. That's what we're using, property of square roots that we talked about way back in chapter 1. Depending on d, there could be two real solutions. That happens if d is positive. There could be one solution. That happens if d is 0. And there could be two imaginary solutions. That happens if d is negative. So the two imaginary solutions, that happens when d is negative. We're going to use this process of taking the square root of both sides to solve equations in section 4.3. All right, so to solve ax squared plus bx equals c for x, we're first going to isolate the x squared, and then we're going to take the square root of both sides. And always remember to do the plus or minus so that you get as many solutions as there are. All right, so example 1, we're just going to dive into some examples. Solving quadratic equations using square roots. So if you wanted to solve 3x squared minus 27 equals 0 using square roots, we write the equation, then we're going to add 27 to both sides. So basically we're moving the minus 27 to the other side. Then we're going to divide both sides by 3. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Then we're going to take the square root of both sides. So square root of x squared equals plus or minus, don't forget the plus or minus square root of 9. And then we simplify. So we get x equals plus or minus 3. So we get x equals 3, x equals -3. So two solutions, 3 and -3. And over here on the side, it shows you how that would get you the same solutions if you solved by factoring. All right, part B, solve using square roots again. So we write the equation. We're going to add 10 to both sides. Add 10. We get x squared equals 0. We take the square root of both sides. Square root of 0 is just 0. And the -0 is still 0. So we just get one solution. We get x equals 0. So in the first example, we had two solutions. Second example, we only have one. First example, the solutions were real numbers, one positive, one negative. Second example, one solution. All right, part C, solving using square roots again. So we're going to subtract 11 from both sides. 16 take away 11 is 5. We're going to divide both sides by -5 to get the x squared by itself. 5 divided by 5 is -1. We're going to do the square root of both sides, remembering to do a plus or minus square root of that right-hand side. And then we're going to simplify. Square root of -1 is I, so we have plus or minus I. So two solutions, x equals I, x equals -I. So two non-real solutions. They are complex numbers, but they're not real numbers. So two solutions. All right.